So this week I'm doing more work on the Privy. I've built a door. I've made a nice unusual looking handle for it, and I'll show you what's going on inside as well. Right, it's the heat of the day, so I've come inside to do a bit of carpentry, joinery, not really joinery. I need to make a ledge and brace door for the Privy, so that's what I'm going to do now. Shouldn't take too long. Got the timber, got the chop saw. I've got screws that are too long and nails that are too short. I would have liked to show you how to do clinching, which is a way of bending a nail, but they're too short, and the only other longer nails I've got are too thick, so I'm going to have to cut down the screws, which is alright because it does the job, doesn't it? I do realise the last time I was in here, the light was bad, so hopefully this is going to be a bit better, and let's get cracking. Those cut now. I do need to rip one board down. Problem is though, is that I don't have a circular saw, so I'm going to have to do it by hand. So I'm going to go get the saw, rig up a temporary bench, and rip one board down. Rightio, it's the next day, and what I found last night before I finished was that these boards that I've just cut up were quite warped, quite twisted, because somebody didn't paint the ends before he seasoned it. So that'll be a lesson to myself. So as a consequence, they weren't fitting together very well, and I tried clamping it together, and I was trying to do it on camera, and I was finding it infinitely frustrating. So I went and cooled off, had some to eat, and just came back in the evening, and I didn't film it because it was a bit of a faff. However, I have clamped it up, and it's looking all right. Now, as you can see, it's clamped up, and I've clamped it across the way, so because the boards were twisted this way as well as that way, so there's something clamping together to keep them flat on either end, and also just to hold them together. Now, what I did do, it will work to a degree because I've done it before, but I poured a load of water on it. You can see where it's damp. It's not shadow. It's so I poured a load of water on it, so hopefully it help reset the fibers a little bit. I'm not saying that it's going to cure the problem by any means, but it will certainly help. So what I'm going to do is, whilst it's like this, and I did actually position the boards so that I had the back facing up, so I don't actually have to move it. So I can put on the majority of the bracing without actually having to lift it up or move it in any way. So I'm going to cut that bracing now, and we'll see how it goes. I've screwed on some of the bracing, but the battery ran out on the camera, so what can you do? I'm going to put the diagonal bracing on, and I'm going to put it on in such a fashion that the weight of the outside of the door is transferred over to the hinges, like this. heavy. We've got one screw that's come through. But otherwise, that's pretty good considering how bent it was. Ah, fairly straight. So I've got some gaps in between here. I'll try and screw these in further without actually going through it. But other than that, pretty pleased with that. Okay, I'm very pleased with how this door came out considering how warped and twisted the boards were. I mean, I'm going to look down the edge. It isn't too bad, it's not perfect, but it's sufficient for what we need. So I'm going to work out where I'm going to put the T-hinges and how I'm going to put them on the frame, whether I'll put them on the outside, which will probably be easier, and let's get it screwed together and working as a proper door. So I've got some T-hinges here, shaped like this. I'm not sure if this is going to be quite big enough for the for this door, but I'm going to put them on anyway. Should be okay, but we'll have to see. Now you'll notice on the T-hinges, it's got there's two sides to it. So one side is flat, the other side has got a countersink on the holes. So that's there just ready to accept your screw. So any sort of like trumpet shaped screw will sit flush or almost flush with that. So there's a couple of ways we could mount these T-hinges. One of them is on the outside and have a hinge on the outside of the door, which kind of looks quite nice really. Doesn't stop anybody from unscrewing it and stealing your door if you're worried about that. So the option to go on the inside might be better. You don't really need to rebate these into the frame. They're just very basic. If you are interested in how to hang a door properly, a proper door, an internal door, then give us a shout in the comments and I'll see what I can do. But getting back to these, so it's going to be a case of me for this is mount these on the door where I want them to be. I'm literally just going to wedge the door into where I want it to sit and screw it on, and that'll be it done. That's as complicated as it gets. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put what we call a door stop, or you might call it a slam strip, on the inside of the head, because when we position the door to mark hinges or to see how well it's going to fit, you don't want it falling in because you've got nothing to grab hold of it with. So I'm going to cut this to length. I'm going to measure how deep the door is and make that mark so the front face of the door is flush with the outside of the frame. Yeah, that's pretty much it really. And then we'll see how I mount the hinges. Actually, I've decided to nail this on because save on the screws. I've got more nails than screws. So let's so I'm going to set my combination square to 25mm. That's how thick the door is. I'm just going to make a couple of small marks. Stick them in the middle as well. Make it tight enough so it can stay up there, so it's a lot easier. And then I'm just going to tack this on because I may want to move it. If the door's slightly warped or twisted, then I can just adjust this so it sits nicely. Okay. Right. So I'm going to have the hinges. So like I said before, these are essential to keep your door straight and square, or in this case, straightish, squarish. If you don't have this bracing on, the weight of this end of the door will drag itself down, and that's when you get it binding or sticking on the threshold. So what you want is you want your hinges on this side, so this transfers that weight to the hinges. It'll keep it square. So what I want to do is I'm going to mount them on the outside. So I'm going to mark centre of there, centre of there. So when I screw my hinges on the other side, I'm actually coming into this thickness, this thick part of the timber, thick part of the door, and it'll be more secure. Actually a bit easier to do. That bottom hinge on the floor. Okay, let's see how it's going to fit. Okay, so it's a bit gappy at the top. So what I'm going to do is use some plastic packers, pack it up, keep it in position, and hopefully it'll be right the first time. Okay, so that's 6mm. More. Okay. So as you can see, the problem with the warping is rearing its ugly head. We've got a little bit there that it's sticking out. So what I'm going to do, keep it locked, and then I'll wedge that shut, and then over time it will stay in that position. Okay, so the door's on, and now you can get some privacy. And what I need to do now is position the loose seat, position the insert, which goes underneath the toilet seat, so the number ones and twos can be separated before it goes too far. I will make a video on the theory of composting and alternatives and why it works and how it works and all that sort of thing at a later date. But for the meantime, you separate one from the other, and that stops it from smelling. It's essential I get this in the correct place, and it's also essential that I get the toilet seat in the correct place as well, because it's got to be comfortable to sit on, but you also need to be able to not have to direct things. So it's going to be a little bit tricky filming in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit of work, and then I'll show you where I got to and carry on until it's finished, I guess. Okay, we're at the positioning stage here. I'll show you what I mean. Now, this insert has got to be in the correct position, because I'm going to plumb it into that pipe there, and but it needs to be far enough forward so you can sit on this seat comfortably enough, but also in the correct position so you can hit the target. So I think I need to take a little bit of this cross member out, not as much as that, but maybe that, and we'll see if that's a better position. I didn't bring my jigsaw, and I'm not paying €55 for a tin pot jigsaw, because that seems a bit of a waste of money to me. So I bought a coping saw and do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, I've cut that out. €55 seems like a good price now. That coping saw that I bought was absolutely useless, so I cut a few lines and chiseled it out. I'll show you. Okay, so it looks like this seat's too far forward, but I've had the benefit of being able to use it in a box previous to now, and the seat needs to be further forward on the inner part than you think. Okay, so that is roughly in the right position. I'll show you what I did in regards to not jigsawing. Yeah, just cut some grooves out and chiseled it out because it was a lot quicker, and I'm glad I did that because I had to adjust it as well. And look at that, nobody would tell the difference. Yeah, and nobody's going to start taking the inserts out to measure your carpentry skills, so that is absolutely fine. Now all I need to do now is work out what the position's going to be with the boards down, so I can mark it off, cut them out and nail them down. I was going to make a sawdust bucket underneath the seat there. However, if you imagine how far you've got to reach down there, you're going to end up putting your head too close to the bowl. So nobody's going to want to do that. So I think I'm just going to make a separate bin for sawdust up here, or I could even put it here. The door's not going to obstruct anything, so a little box in here wouldn't be out of place. Right. Let's crack on. Right, we've got the final resting position for the toilet seat and the insert. Let's check it out. So toilet seat sits there. Right. I haven't marked where it should be, which is going to be around about there. It actually needs to sit back a bit further than you think. I was wrong earlier on. But yeah, that sits there. The insert sits there. And look at that. It's a bit rough, but nobody's ever going to see it. So long as it's functional and this is not going to fall down it, it's okay. So I've nailed all these boards down. Now what I will do, I'm going to build a door here. I'm going to leave this loose, even though the manufacturer says you should stick it down, but I'm going to leave it loose. It's not going to go anywhere, and then it's easy to take off and clean, and the door underneath here will enable me to put the plumbing back on. I don't know if you can see, but there's it's like a bayonet fixing for a filter, so if there's any sawdust that gets spilt into this front compartment, you can clean it out. So let's get that last bit in place. Okay, that's the loose seat fixed into place. Works perfectly. And then you can see here that I've used this bayonet fixing, so when I want to take the insert out, all I've got to do is give it a twist and lift it out. And when I want it back in, give it a twist, and that's that done. You can't really see from here, but what I've done, is extended the pipe. Is the light good enough? Just about. So I've teed it off, so to the right hand side there it goes towards the soakaway, and then that goes up to the bayonet fixing, and to the left what I'm going to do here is I'm going to build a bigger shower cubicle with a changing space and what have you, which will come in a later video. I'll build that off the side of this building here, and then that waste there, for the time being, it will take the waste from the shower, and then later on just the waste from the sink, because I think it'd be worth keeping the waste for the shower, put it on the plants. I mean, you know, it can get pretty arid here, so it'll be better to keep whatever water we want. We're going to use completely biodegradable and eco-friendly products and soaps and what have you, so I've got an issue with putting it on the garden. Yeah, look at that. That is a Allen key, an Allen key that came with the toilet seat. Look at that. They've chopped probably about a centimetre off that. That's shrinkflation for you guys. There you go. So that's finished there. So all I need to do is put some panelling on the sides, build a little door into the front so I can get in there and just for maintenance, and that should be done. It'll be fully operational. I think I'll just hang a curtain for the back because I still haven't ordered the timber. I've just had 101 other things to do, so I'll get around to that at some point. But it's working, and it's soft close as well. Okay. How posh is that? Come on. Hey. Fully operational, however, there's still work to be done.